That 6 million remix.
We're not gonna die.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's God! We're not gonna die. We're gonna get out of here.
Yeah, I'm
We're not gonna die.
on the right. Stand on the right. Have it, Johnny. Have it, Tony. Yeah, like. Where's the car, the keys? Where's that car?
Battery's dead.
Play on it, record or stand by up in the corner. Record stand by.
Down to the rumbling bass line.
Our last dory enters the rapid with the usual 2 oars. Now, 1.5. That's the last big run, and the last day of hard bailing. The river current slows. The rapids have ended. The challenge of the rapids may be over, but we take with us many exciting memories of their danger and power, and of the great beauty of the canyon. The river has spent millions of years creating this place. Although it's majestic, its ecology is fragile. We hope future travelers will cherish and respect it.
Next, the Channel 4 News Summary from ITN.
The horn, in fact, despite its fearsome appearance, is rarely used in aggression and is actually made of matted hair. It can be very long, giving rise to the suggestion that these beasts may have been the original unicorn of legend. They are generally solitary in habit, although they may occasionally be seen grazing or wallowing together. The Moguls hunted these creatures from elephant back, and they've been hunted mercilessly ever since. Today there are less than 1,500 one-horned rhinos left, 400 or so in neighboring Nepal, and the rest here at Kaziranga in Assam, in the far northeast of India. The hunter's gun has been replaced by the tourist's camera, but there is still a very real threat from poaching. Rhino horn being in great demand in China, where it's believed to be an aphrodisiac, and 30 or 40 rhinos are killed here every year. Ironically, though, the rhino, like the tiger, owes its survival in part to hunting, one of the main causes of its demise. For this park, like Ranthambore, was originally set up as a game reserve. It was not the Moguls, though, who established this park as a hunting reserve, but the rulers who replaced them. And it was they who were to set in motion the biggest transformation yet of the riches of wild India.
India, for the wildlife and the mild life. Call your travel agent or 071 437 3677.
Test drive your senses. Call Mazda on 0800 484848.
Birds do it, bees do it, even educated fleas do it. Let's do it, let's fall in love.
There's one building society which helps over 13 million people prepare for the future.
Even educated
In fact, we help more people save more money for more things than anyone else. A daughter's wedding, for example. Get a little extra help from the Halifax.
One discovery changed the course of history forever. We learned to talk. Speech has allowed the communication of ideas, enabling human beings to build the impossible. Mankind's greatest achievements have come about by talking. And its greatest failures by not talking. It doesn't have to be like this. Our greatest hopes could become reality. With the technology at our disposal, the possibilities are unbounded. All we need to do is make sure we keep talking.
Do you see other forms in cloud formations?
This is something that helps you get a clearer view of wine. And so does this. Thrasher Wine Shops. We'll help you get more out of a bottle of wine.
Now, with every special twin pack of Agfa film, you get a free Happy Teddy.
other forms in cloud formations.
It was the British who stepped into the power vacuum created by the decline of the Mughal Empire in the late 17th century. Trade was the main motivation for a strong British presence in Madras, Bombay, and Calcutta, and the East India Company opened up the way for colonial rule. Railways and roads were built to open up the interior to exploitation, allowing natural resources like minerals and valuable hardwoods to be brought down to the coastal cities. Forests were also cleared to make way for commercial plantation agriculture, growing tea, coffee, spices and timber for the European market. And where possible, the traditional British way of life was recreated, not only in terms of architecture, pleasure gardens and social conventions, but also through sport and other traditional British leisure pursuits. At the famous Ooty Club, at the South Indian hill station of Uttakamund, there's ample evidence of the popularity of one particular activity, hunting. The heads are not those of foxes, but jackals, hunted on horseback in the British style with full hunting pink. More common, though, was to hunt the wildlife of India with the gun, especially the biggest trophy of them all, the tiger.
Oh, I think the British approach was that it should be a properly controlled, well-ordered sport. The attraction to me, I suppose, is something that is in you and I and everybody else. We are hunters, basically. And there was a thrill in it. But I very seldom shot deer. Well, I did shoot tiger, and I do shoot panther. And they were all done on foot. I used to go out with 2 or 3 dogs and 3 of my men, and it was quite something. I said, if you try and shoot a tiger by sitting up a tree on a bait, then you might just as well shoot the old cow you've tied up. But there was no sport in that.
The shooting of water birds was also popular with the British, and the most famous location was Baratpur, near Delhi. Baratpur is not a natural lake at all, but an artificial one created in 1896 by a keen hunter. Established expressly for the purpose of hunting, it was always kept well stocked with a huge variety of birds. The water level is controlled by a system of sluices and channels, the lake itself having been formed by the damming of a small stream. Only 11 square miles in size, this small lake has attracted kings, viceroys and princes like no other hunting reserve in India. They came here for the fashionable annual duck shoot, when massive slaughter took place. King Edward VIII once bagged over 2,000 birds here in a day. But the trophy boards bear witness to an even greater count, slaughtered by the viceroy and famous hunter, Lord Linlithgow, the astonishing record bag of 4,273 birds in a single day. In the autumn and winter months, the sheer numbers of birds visiting the reserve are astonishing. In October and November, every tree in the area is crammed full of nesting storks, herons, and cormorants. The chicks of the spoonbills and herons are by now quite large, but still totally dependent on their parents for food. All day long, the adult birds swoop into the lake and return with food for their hungry chicks. These are painted storks, one of the largest and commonest birds in the reserve. In any one year, there may be as many as 5,000 pairs of painted storks breeding here, often nesting in colonies with other storks, sometimes of different species. By the water's edge, egrets and white storks mingle together, while snakebirds, relatives of the cormorant, fish in their own unique way, in the style that gives them their name. Once the young painted storks can fly and leave the nest, they're technically able to feed themselves. But many go on depending on their parents for food for several months. Safe from predators and man within the protected reserve, other species of animal also prosper here, like cheetah or spotted deer. It's also a haven for birds of prey, like tawny eagles, India's largest eagle, squabbling here over a dead stork. Today, Bharatpur, also called Keoladio Ghana, is justly heralded as one of the most important ornithological sites in the world. It was created, though, not by the British themselves, but by a local Maharaja, and it was his successor who, in 1945, turned this extraordinary place into one of India's most famous national parks.
The Renault 19. Touch it, and you're tempted.
I think that's about everything. Do you have any questions?
Oh, hang on. Was there another set of keys?
Yes, they're in the kitchen.
Great.
Listen, I hope you'll be very happy here.
Sure I will.
And I left you a little moving in present.
Oh, thanks. What is it?
Golden roasted, richer, smoother Nescafe Gold Blend.
So,